Hello and welcome to the DevOps project. So let me explain you the full scenario what we are trying to achieve here. The end user, which you can see, it is writing a Docker file and pushing it to the GitHub repository. Once this will push the repository to the GitHub, the Jenkins will start building Docker images based on the Docker file. Okay, so it will start building the Docker images. So once the Jenkins will build the Docker images with the Docker file, the Jenkins itself will push the Docker images now to the Dockerhub. Okay, so Jenkins job is done. Another part of the Jenkins you can see here, like Jenkins and this web app server both have a connection through SSH. Okay, they can communicate through SSH authentication. They do not need any password. So you can see basically it's passwordless authentication has to be set between these two servers. Okay, so once the Docker file will come pushed it to the Docker commit to the GitHub, the Jenkins build will start building the Docker images based on the Docker file, and once the Jenkins will build the Docker images, it will push to the Docker repository. Okay, and once the once the latest image you have pushed, so the Jenkins itself SSH log into the web app server, and it will push the latest image from the Dockerhub, and it will create a container based on the latest image. Okay, so let's go ahead, and what are the next scenario we have to look forward. Let's see. So these are the steps I have written here. You can see we are building CICD of Docker based application using Jenkins pipeline script. So here basically we will use Groovy script to achieve our goal. So you can reference to my other Jenkins pipeline video if you have any issues. Or so these are the steps going forward we have to follow. So first step is we have to launch two EC2 instances, one for Jenkins and one for web app, and both server has on both of the server we have to install Docker, because on the Jenkins we are building the Docker images, right? And from the Jenkins itself we are pushing it to the Dockerhub, and in the web app, because we are pulling the latest images and we are deploying a container on the web app, so both server need this Docker image, right? Going forward to the third point, install Jenkins on the Jenkins server, and fourth is create pipelines and mention the stages. So git checkout has to be done from the GitHub. The Jenkins will pull all the codes. Okay, pull all the codes of the repo. We will build the Docker image. We will push image to the Dockerhub and run container on the web app server by pulling the same image from Dockerhub. Same image in the sense latest image. So let's go. If we will face any issues, we will try to resolve in the same video. So okay, so let's go to the AWS portal to create our two EC2 instances. So you can see I have already running one Jenkins server and I have already running one web app server. Okay, so Jenkins and Jenkins has been already installed. So let me log in this. If you don't know how to install Jenkins, please watch out my previous videos. 8080. And I have already installed Docker on both of the server. If you don't know how to do it, please check any authenticated site, you will get to know. Let me log in to my Jenkins server. Okay, so once I have logged in, just click on sign in. So once you have logged into your Jenkins server, you have to install one plugin called SSH agent. So just click on manage Jenkins, and after that you have to click on manage plugins. After that you have to click on available and just search for SSH agent. Just provide a keyword. So you can see here you will get a SSH agent. Just install, download and install after restart. Just click on that. So until it's restart, Let's wait. So once our system is restarted, then let's log into our both of the VMs. Let me grab the IP of Jenkins server. Let me SSH. This is the key. So the left one is my Jenkins server and this white one is my web app server. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to make, so once you have logged in, so remember my words, like what I have said, I have already done with these 3 steps. I have launched 2 EC2 instances already. I have already installed Docker on both of the server. I have installed Jenkins on the Jenkins server. Now I just have to do this 4th step. Okay, so let's do that. Let's write a Groovy script for this. So I'm on the Jenkins dashboard. Just click on a new item. So rename it something. This job already exists. Docker Groovy something. Docker Groovy web app. This is fine. Just click on pipeline way. Click on OK. So here our script section starts. So let's write the code. Since it is a declarative way, so I'm using this node. Inside this, all the stage will come. Stage name. So first stage is what? Git checkout. It should come under a single or double quotes. Git checkout. Okay, and here you have to provide the GitHub code. Correct? So if you don't know how to do it, just click on syntax generator. Once you got it, just search for git. Okay, you got the git, and here you have to provide the repo URL. Just go to your project, click and get the HTTP. You are cloning through HTTP here, right? So just paste it. So since this is my public repository, so I don't need any password to log in, right? So this is, you can say this is my public repository and this is present inside master branch. I have just one branch here. Okay, so if you are using any private repository, then you have to create a user here, not a user here. For authentication, you have to provide your real GitHub username and password and description, and you have to add. Once you will add here, you can authenticate this, right? But since my case is different, I'm using a public repository, so I'm going for this. Just click on that and just get this. I got this. I am pasting here. So when a step is done, so let's perform this operation. We will go one by one, okay, stepwise. Let's wait the build to complete. Okay, so you can see here git checkout has been done. So if you want to check whether it has successful or not, just switch to cd var lib Jenkins. You have to go for workspace here. So one build is required, right, to switch to your, okay, space. You will get something like, see, you got your pipeline name folder here. Just get into the folder, Docker Groovy web app, just do ls, and see, you got your Docker file here. Okay, so this step is done. Now what was the second step we have to do? So we have to Jenkins, this Jenkins server has got the Docker file. Now Jenkins has to build the Docker image from the Docker file. So we have to write the stage for that. Just get into configure. just go and you have to create one more stage here. Stage, name it Docker build image. I am naming it Docker. Okay, I have named it, and you have to write the functionality of this stage. So how to write that? Inside the sh you have to write everything. Okay, so how to build an image? Docker image build -t. And since, see, I want to name my image as my project, Jenkins project name, this name. So how can we get this? So you have to search for Jenkins variable list, and you will get, see, build number, the number of time you will build the pipeline, you will get something like 0 1 2 3, correct? And this is the job name. Job name is basically what this your Jenkins pipeline job name, this is called, this is basically a job, right? So okay, so I have to use this job name right here. Okay, so I'm going here, job name colon, I want to maintain various version of it as well. Version dot what, build id, correct? And dot, correct? So basically I'm doing what with the job name Docker Groovy web app colon version 1 dot build id. If I will run it once, it will print 1 here. So Docker Groovy script version 1, Docker Groovy script version 1.2, Groovy script version 1.3, something like that it will happen, correct? So once this is done, so see, if you want to tag your Docker image, if you want to push your Docker image, so your Docker image should be tagged with the username. So my username is this, you can see. So I'm going to tag the Docker images, Docker build, and the same stage, correct? So let me do it here itself. Docker image tag, whom you want to tag. I want to tag this, just copy. What do you want to tag? Just provide the username of your Dockerhub along with your this build id, correct? So see, since this is fine, you are pushing your with this tag to your Dockerhub repo, but since your web app should always take latest, correct? So I'm doing what, I am maintaining versioning, correct? Once I am getting a version .v1.0, v1.1, v1.2 something, and for that also, for each version I have to get one latest image, right? So that my web app server will always with that only my web app server will pull latest image as well, correct? So I'm going to write for the same, control C, control V, and here instead of build id, what you have to do, and version, just tag the latest image, means the image you are building, you are making it of two version, tagging it for two version, one for with the build id and one for the latest, and latest one will be always pulled by your web app server, right? And you are like this, you are also maintaining version as well, correct? So this is done. So let's, so see, if you are using Docker command, so I have already told you, your in your system Jenkins server Docker should be already installed, correct? So if it is done, just click on apply and save and try to run this. Let's see if we get any issues. Just click on that. So just, okay. So it's failed. Let's see what happened. So see, dial Unix connection permission denied. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to provide this permission. Okay, and you can see from here as well, correct? See, I will show you. Once you will come here, just click on that, just click on logs. See, permission denied this. So for this you have to provide permission, right? So let's go to your Jenkins server. Here's my Jenkins server. Control, let me clear the screen. Okay, let me log in. Correct, be a super user. Okay, server is a paged hour key. Let me create a separate session. So once we logged in, just be a super user. Let's clear the screen, and what you have to do, chmod, I'm giving permission 777 to which, okay, oh my god, 777 to which you have to provide permission to this path, correct? Just copy this, var run docker.sock. We can type as well, no problem. So let's type here. What is the file path? var run docker dot shock, correct? This is done. I have provided the permission. Let's go and build the pipeline once again. Let's see if this time it succeeds. So you can see, like, this time the Jenkins server started building Docker image from the Docker file, right? You can see all of the steps. Stage 1 from CentOS I have mentioned. These all things are getting executed here. So see, it is done. So tagging is done. Now what is our next step? Our next step is to push this Docker image, okay, to the pipeline. So before that, let's go to the Jenkins server and let's see Docker. Let's check our images. So see, we have build number 1.3, correct, along with the app name version 1.3, because this is the third build, you can see, and along with the third build you are having a this with this tag Docker Groovy web app, correct? This is having this tag version 1.build id 1, and this is having this tag latest tag, correct? So this will only being fetched by your web app, right? So now what should be done, these two files should be pushed to the this two file now should be pushed to the Dockerhub, correct? So let's go and write the third stage. Before that, let's go to our Dockerhub and let's see if we do have any repository pre-existing. So here you can see I don't have any repository, there are no namespaces. Okay, just let me just refresh. Okay, so see, I do not have any repository in the namespace, right? So let's write the third stage, sorry. Let's go to the configure, scroll down, and here now we will write a stage for pushing Dockerhub, correct? So see, if you are going to push the images to the Dockerhub, what is the prerequisite? You have to log into the Dockerhub, correct? Then only you can push. So for that, what you have to do, you have to generate a syntax for that. Means you have to SSH. So let's go to pipeline syntax generator and let's search here for GitHub credential, because we are passing username, because we are passing the Dockerhub password here, right? So if you can, if you want, you can directly write like this also, like see sh docker login, and here you will pass the username, right? And -p, and here you will provide your password. But do you think this is a correct way to do that in an industry, right? No, that is not a correct way. So what you have to do, you have to provide the password here, but in a secret way. So let's go to the Jenkins pipeline syntax generator, and as I told, just search for with the credential. So here you can see I have with the credential, yes, add. And here what you have to select, you have to select this secret text, and here what will be the name, so you can name it as docker passwd password. Go to the Jenkins, here provide the username. So what is the username of your Dockerhub? Okay, and here you have to provide the password of your Dockerhub, right? I have given, correct? Just if you want to give a description, just give a description. And let's copy the same to the description as well. Let's add it. Once you will add it, just click. So you can see here, okay, you got a syntax. Just copy the syntax and go to your this. So before executing this stage, okay, once this stage will be get executed, then first what you have to do, you have to log into the Docker, correct? Then only you can execute, correct? So this is your step. Now how you will use the same, correct? How you will log into the Docker, just paste here. And how to use that, you have to provide here interpolation, and here you will pass your password. See, this one you will use. Sorry, one thing I missed to tell you, right? We are doing for secret text, not for a username with password, right? We are already providing the username in the code itself, but we are providing the password in the secret text, correct? So sorry, I missed that. So just go back to the pipeline syntax generator again. Just click on the secret text, and once this will come, just provide your Docker password. So once this is done, just give some random ID, description, add it here, okay? Once you will add, you will get like this. Last time we didn't got correct. So now just click on generate, just copy this code and go back to your pipeline, and let me remove these all things, okay? Once I have removed this, okay, so now you can write here your code for a Docker login, correct? How you will write, let me formalize it first. Okay, so sh of, how to write, Docker login, this take my username, and what is my password? This is my password, sorry, this is my password. how to pass with the use of interpolation. Just copy this variable. This is the variable which is having your secret text, correct? So like this in the industry level you will work, correct? So now what are your next steps? Once you will log in, what you have to do, you have to push the images. What are all the images you have to push? The one which is having version, and the second one which is having latest tag. Okay, once this builds, okay, let's write for that. So see, one more thing, if you are using your interpolation and you are using single quotes, so that will not work, correct? So let's use double quotes here so that it will fetch the value. Okay, so this is the way you should write. Now here let's write the command to push once you have logged in. So docker image push. Which image do you want to push? Just copy and paste the same names, one with the version tag, and then again sh image push. Which one? One with the latest tag. Copy and paste here. Okay, so once your pushing is done, so what will be the next step? As a To follow the coding standard, see, once you are building all the images, it will be present in your local as well. So every time you will build the image, a number of image will be filled on your local server, right? It will not conflict, because see, you are having different build ID 1 2 3 4 5 6 like this. All the images will sit inside your Jenkins server itself. So better to remove all the image once you have pushed, right? So let's add one more stage for that. So I'm renaming it, or instead of creating one more stage, what I can do, let's remove here itself, right? Sh docker image rm. What are the images do you want to delete? So the local image, and the image with version, and the image with latest tag. So once you have pushed, you no need, right, in your local, so that every time you will make changes in the docker file, it will execute, correct, the latest one. Otherwise, if you have the latest one in your Jenkins itself, Docker will do what? Once you will try to create the container, it will find the latest one into your uh, Jenkins server itself, right? And it will not pull the latest one, because latest is already present. So you have to do what? You have to delete the previous latest image, right? Correct. So I am doing what? I am deleting all the previous latest image, so that next time I will run, it will start from scratch, correct? So let's apply, save, and try to run it. This is our third stage. So it is pushing the images to the Docker. Let's see the console output here. Okay, so it has prepared. So you can see Docker image push. So it is succeed now. So what is the result of this? We can go here, and if you will refresh, so all should come and sit here, right? Let's wait a moment and let's see. Okay, so you got that, right? If you will click on that, you can see the versioning and the latest tag will be present here. So see, 1.4 and latest, correct? As per our build, this is our fourth build. The same way you are having v1.4 and this is the latest of this version 1.4, correct? So let's go to the next step to create the next stage. Okay, so what are the next step? Now Jenkins has to SSH to the web app server. So you remember, right? We have installed a SSH agent plugin. So using that plugin only we have to configure the web app server by providing the username and the ppk of that VM private key. And after that Jenkins will do what? Jenkins will SSH to the second server, correct? And it will start creating the container. So let's go to the fourth step. Just click on configure. So here I'm going to write one more stage. What is the fourth step? Docker container deployment, Docker container deployment. So see, Jenkins has to switch to the next server, correct, from here only. So for that you have SSH agent plugin already installed. So let's see SSH agent. See, you have SSH agent plugin. Once you have installed, you will get this option. Just click on that, and here username with SSH username with private key you have to do here, correct? So just go there. What will be the ID? You can give any ID like web app server. This is just for your name, right? This is just a naming. Use the same for description as well. What is the username of your the second server, right? What is the second server? So this is the username, right? Ubuntu, and we are providing the private key, so no need to worry. Ubuntu and private key, enter directly. I have in my local, so I will put this. So see this is my private key. I'm copying it and I'm pasting here. Just add it. Once you will add, you will get something like that, correct? Just click on that. So see, SSH agent web app server came here. Just copy this. So see, this will do what? From the Jenkins server you will log into the web app server. So just paste here. Okay, let me reframe it. So now what are the next steps you have to do? Now you have to start pulling, right? So for the first time, let's write SSH. If you don't know how to use, okay, I have done SSH, but I don't know how to make use of this, right? So just go here only, correct? And if you will click on that, see, you can see like this you have to do. So you can make use of this. Control C, Control V. So I don't want any key checking right here, correct? So after that, what they are doing, they are passing the username, correct? Username. So how you can do SSH, you know, right? You have to provide the username @ the password. So let's go there, web app server, just copy this password, ubuntu @ this, and after that you have to write the command. Okay, so what is my command here? Docker run. I'm writing for detached mode here, correct? Docker run it. What will be the name of my container? I'm writing scripted container, which port you are going to open for this. So I'm mapping this with my 9000 with 80 TCP port of that. and here in the last you have to provide the image name. Which image do you want to pull, right? Just let me go to the Dockerhub. Let's copy this. Provide this here. Okay. Something we missed. Control paste. Let me reframe it. Okay, so this is the image. So I have not appended here any version or list, right? So if you will not append any version or list, right, so it will always pull the latest code, right? Always it will pull the latest when whatever it will see on the top of it. Okay, so no need to mention here. So once this is done, so you can do one more thing. This is not looking in perfect format, so let's do one thing. Let's copy this all thing, just cut it from here. Let's define a variable. So here you will define a variable diff docker run equals to, okay, so in the single quotes I will paste all the command here. So docker run, your name of the container, hyphen name, check it, is it correct or not. Container, your mapping with hyphen p port 9000 with 80 and with your image name, correct. So once this is done, you have to pass the same here as well, right? So how you will pass along with, again use this interpolation, and we will use copy and paste the variable. This is done. So I have already told you, if you are using interpolation then single quotes doesn't work, so just make it to double quotes. Okay, so this is done. Now let's execute and see. Let's build it. It is Docker container deployment and it failed. Let's see what is the issue. Login succeed. Okay, this login succeed done. Okay, so the same error, right, we faced on the Jenkins server. Again we have to provide permission for the same to the second VM as well, this VM. Okay, so let me make it awake. Let's duplicate the session. Let's go to the previous one. Be a sudo super user. I became. Now what you have to do, you have to provide the permission. I'm providing it full access. Okay, let's click on that. Done. Now again let's build the pipeline and let's see what happens. 6 build should run. Okay, let's click on the console output and let's monitor this. Okay, so now you can see it succeed fine. Only that was our issue. So if this is done, then what is our task? Means a container has been deployed to this web app server. Let's take the IP and along with 9000 port, hit enter. Okay, so see, our website has been deployed like this. So that was our end-to-end project. So one more thing I would like to add here. So let's go to the pipeline. Let's go to the configure. So see, you are removing the image, that is fine, but what about the containers? Okay, when the next time if you will run the same, okay, so it will definitely fail, correct? So let's try that, because the container name with the same name is already existing there, right? So I have tried to build. What happened? So unfortunately, by mistake, I have deleted my content. I have deleted my script. I do not have any plugin installed, so I was not able to recover it. But I have prepared the code again for you. So what I was trying to tell you, like you can see here, the scripted container is already in use by a container, right? So what if you will go to your code? So as I have told you, whenever you will run this code, right, the container name you have given, that is already existing, in your web app server, right? So this name, correct, again and again you will run, you will face the same issue, like this name is already existing. So what you have to do, you have to write certain more stages, right? You have to delete the container as well, like you are deleting the images, correct? So let me write all the steps for that. Okay, so I have variable in the same way you can see. See, first you have to remove the container. If any pre-existing container is there, then you have to remove it. Then what you have to do? Then you have to remove the images as well if you do have. Then in the last step, what you have to do? You are creating a new fresh container. So this is the correct way, right? So once this is done, just click on apply, save, and let's run it. Let's see the output. Let's go inside the console log. Seems like I have recreated this Groovy script, so seems like the issue with some IP. Okay, just click on apply and save. Let's run it. Let's wait for the for the build. Docker image building is in process. Okay, it is pushing now. It is deleting previous things. It failed. The container name is already in use by the container. Okay, let me change the name again. We are facing. So here our container name is a scripted container. Okay, remove container. So okay, so this is the name of our container. Okay, this is the name of our container. This is the image removal. What is the name of the image we are using? Just go to the Dockerhub. You can see this is the name for same as the pipeline. So now everything seems correct. Just apply and save and run again. Let's see. So single mistake will not let the pipeline run, right? So let's wait until this execute. Hopefully this time it should run. Okay, so finally it succeed. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so this is the one which is already running, right? So when, how to check? So if the user has done what, if the user has made changes in the this if the user has made changes in this Docker file, like see, right now we are in this photogenic website, correct? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to uncomment the second Docker file. Let me comment this and let me uncomment this. Okay, this is done. Just commit the changes, and once you have committed, just come here and just run it once again. So what should happen this time? This totally, we will get something new here, right? So let's wait until this process completes. Let's wait for our sixth build. You can see here as well one commit if you will do in the git, it is notifying you update a Docker file, right? Just now we have, so see, all thing has been done. So once I'm going back to this and I'm refreshing this, something new should come here. Okay, sign template has came here. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching.